What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a little while, and yeah, I don't have much to say other than I haven't been in the shop working on the build. Lost kind of my motivation there, but there has been some hours plugged away. We got the front clip all ripped off. We got our top rad support, which I'll show you guys in a bit. I've been working on the Hydroboost and the hydraulic clutch. I got those mounted in there, as well as we got the steering column out. We got the steering shaft all welded and adapted, as well as we got the pedals in the truck kind of mocked up or whatever. I'll grab the camera and I'll zoom into that. So in this episode, what we're going to do is we're going to strip the pedals back out. We're going to kind of throw a coat of paint on them. I'll kind of go over what I did with them, and we're going to make a 1/8 inch steel plate to go on the firewall, so that when we're pushing that clutch in, that we're not pushing that hydraulic clutch right through the firewall, because in these old trucks it's pretty thin metal. So I'll grab the camera, I'll zoom in for you guys, and I'll kind of walk you through what I did. So here, guys, we got our top rad holder that kind of mounts to the core support, so that gets bolted on there. 12 valve Cummins on there, just a little touch. Here's our steering shaft. So we got this ripped out of the steering column here, and we got this adapted from this unions from the 99 F-350. We have this shortened down. This is collapsible, so we can get it in the truck, and so that will mount to the power steering box here, right there. So on that guy, I actually have the power steering pump ripped off, just because we got to make up Hydroboost lines to go from the power steering pump to the Hydroboost, from the Hydroboost to the power steering box. So I got all these lines kind of ready to go, got them labeled and ripped off here. So I'm going to take these next week into the city so they can make me up some power steering lines. Here's the power steering pump from the stock Dodge. These are from the 05 on the Hydroboost, and this is Ford Super Duty power steering line. So here we are inside the truck, guys. We got the pedals all in there. Sorry for the lighting, trying to light it up there a bit for you. We welded this on to go to the hydraulic clutch here through the firewall, and then we got the Hydroboost right up in here. We drilled that out from the Dodge pedals, put that on there, and then this accelerator throttle pedal is from the 99 F-350, but we fabbed this little bracket up with some bearings in there, so it's that's what that looks like. Also, we had cut these pads off, and we put on the Dodge pads. They're a little smaller pad, they're not so wide. So we just cut those off of the Dodge ones, welded it on. I actually had to make one completely from scratch. When we go to paint them, I'll show you it there. So the pedals actually took quite a bit of figuring out. I'll show you kind of where I started and what I was thinking. And then I'll show you kind of what we ended up with. We did a bunch of work that was completely unnecessary, but anyways, that's what you get when you're mashing 4 trucks together and you've never done stuff like this before on your own. So I'll kind of show you what my trial and error, what we went through, and what we decided to go with. So here on the table we have the stock 05 pedal assembly. This is the clutch pedal. It's plastic, so I couldn't cut off this bottom piece and mount it onto the Ford. But anyways, this kind of goes in here, or this side. And so what we started with, we hacked off 3 inches to see if this would fit up underneath of the dash, which it didn't. So we cut off another 2 inches, and then it still wouldn't fit, so we cut off another 2 inches, and then we were left with just this This would have been the piece that mounted on the firewall here, and then there's these pins that the pedals rotate on. But it did fit, but once we stuck it up under there, it looked kind of stupid, as well as we would have had to been able to adapt to this piece that kind of holds the steering column in up here. Because this is what bolts to the firewall, what the master cylinder had bolted to for the 67 Ford, which is right here. So the shaft is in line with the holes here, and the Hydroboost is not. So we had to custom make this bracket. I'll just grab a light for you. So we had to custom make this bracket here out of some angle iron. And we spaced it out a couple inches because I measured the stroke on the stock 67 and then the stroke on this one to get the pedals kind of right. Right down in there, you can see there's a hole in the firewall, so we got to figure out something there. But as you can see, there's many holes in the firewall as of right now. So that's kind of what's been taking place over the last few weeks. So what we're going to do is we're going to get those pedals ripped out of there. We're going to spray some paint on them. Then we're going to take this 1/8 steel plate, and we're going to fab up a plate here that's going to go on this back wall here to support the hydraulic clutch so we don't push it through the firewall. So I'm going to set you guys on the tripod. We're going to rip the pedals out, and we'll go from there. Okay guys, so we got the pedals out of the truck. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna prep them. We're gonna throw a quick coat of paint on it just cause. So yeah, here's the lever. This is actually the Dodge foot pedal, so we utilize some of the metal there. Everything's kind of built out of scrap. So I'll kind of show you. I'll take these off here. So here we go guys, this is the clutch pedal. What I did with the clutch pedal, I said before, this was from the Dodge pedal. This is a 1/2-inch pin I just kind of had laying around. It fits inside the hydraulic clutch. That guy there. This is the Dodge foot pedal. It's kind of dished out for the rubber pedal here because it's got a stopper. So that had to be like that. And we only had one of them. You can see we cut it off there, welded on, because the other one was plastic, like I had said before, and so we had to make one. This is what kind of how it turned out. Doesn't have to look pretty or anything. That's just made out of some scrap steel, and it does the trick. It was a little taller than the other one, so I tacked in a couple washers inside there. You can see that. And then the fuel pedal, this one was maybe a little over engineered, but this is what I came up with in my mind. This is the stock 99 fuel pedal, and the pin that goes through it there. So all I did was I made some pieces here, put some bearings in there. So this is very free floating. There won't be any binding or anything, and we just utilize the factory mounting point in the 67 Ford. So I drilled those holes in there. So let's get these prepped. We're gonna tape off the threads and whatever else, maybe the whole shaft too, so there's no extra binding on there or anything. Get this pedal off and throw a quick coat of paint on there. Then we'll go to this 1/8-inch steel and we'll make a plate to go on the firewall. We'll get it prepped, we'll get it welded in there, and we'll go from there. So here we go. Okay, there we go guys. We got the pedals all nice and blackened up. It's a semi-gloss black. As you guys can tell, I'm not being overly fussy. just to get it one color, not steel, so it doesn't continue to get the rust color. So that should look fairly decent underneath there. So now let's crawl under there. Let's take some measurements of that firewall, and we'll get working on this plate. We'll get drilling that hole out of there, and we'll have to remove this, get this out of the way, kind of clean it up, because I'm thinking I'm going to stitch right here all the way to the corner so it's nice and solid till about here, in line with that guy, because on the other side, if you look here, it'll kind of hit this brace here, so that should be fairly strong, and it'll hit this brace here, so that this piece of tin, as you can see, I can flex. It should stiffen that guy right up. So let's get under there, let's get some measurements, we'll cut a square, and then we'll start rounding this out on the other side. Okay guys, we're going to start roughly here. I know it's not perfect, whatever, but we're just going to cut this out kind of along those lines, and then test fit, and then cut and test fit and shape, and slowly get that shaped into there, leaving this corner, because this is the full 12 that we measured. This is like 12 and a half. So the idea is to get that in there, to get that situated in there, and then we're going to work on drilling the holes for the hydraulic clutch, and then we'll get it bolted on there and make sure it's fitting everything good. Once it's bolted on there, then we'll tack weld it, and then we'll fully stitch both sides. So let's get this cut off first and start going from there. Okay, we got our first cut there. Let's see where we're at. Okay guys, we got this, we had it in there, and we got the Hydroboost kind of marked out, as well as the parking brake. I'm gonna drill those holes out, and then we'll get that piece bolted inside there, and then we'll tack weld it up. So here we go. We got the 4 holes drilled. Maybe I'll do that one. I got a 1-inch drill bit, so we'll go right up to 1 inch. So I'll quickly do that guy. There we go guys, we got a 1-inch hole in there, which isn't quite big enough. You could see my 1-inch drill bit was struggling. That's because I only did 2 drills. I should have stepped it up, but I was being lazy. So I used a stepper bit right there, and we got a 1-inch hole in there. So now we're gonna take the die grinder and we're gonna hone it out, because I don't have a plasma. So anyways, this will take a little bit of time, so here we go. Okay guys, check it out inside there. We got the 1/8-inch plate. We got the Hydroboost bolted in. I got 2 bolts going through where the parking brake sits. And so we got it somewhat cleaned up. So let's throw some tacks on there, and we'll call that solid. There is no flex at all. And we're gonna go to the firewall side too. There's a hole that the electrical used to come through right there. I think I'm just gonna stitch that up, just so it's one piece. So let's drag the welder over, and we'll get that stitched in there. All right, here we go. We got the welded in, that plate. This is the other side. I filled in a few holes here and some dimples and stuff. Is it perfect? No. Does it need to be perfect? Absolutely not. So let's go into the inside. I'll show you guys what it looks like on the firewall. Had to do lots of tack welding, and I tried to clean it up here. Somewhat half decent, whatever. So I didn't clean up there. I also didn't clean up in there. It's all hidden. Who cares? Hydraulic clutch is in. Those bolts are still there for the parking brake. So that's looking pretty sweet. So our pedals are drying. We're going to wait till they're 100% before we put those back in. But there's one other pedal that I wanted to give a little bit of attention. It's the 67 park brake. We're going to run this guy. My idea here is, here's the park brake assembly from the 99 F-350. I grabbed everything. All I want is this little rubber booty just to go on here so this isn't rusted and gross. So before we go home today, we're going to clean this guy up with a wire brush, and we're going to hack this off, and we're going to hack this one off, and we're going to stitch that onto there just so we're looking nice and updated and our pedals will all be in order. So before we go home, let's do that. So here we go. Okay guys, there it is. Check it out. I'm not sure the lighting on there, but looks somewhat stock. Once the foot pad's on there and it's all painted black, a guy will never know. So let's get that painted up and we'll call her a day. All right guys, that's going to be a wrap for this episode. So just to recap, we got Hydroboost, hydraulic clutch. We got the plate in for it, so there's no flex in the firewall. We got the throttle pedal, the clutch pedal, the brake pedal, the parking brake pedal. Next week we're taking the power steering pump, the lines, so we can get the Hydroboost all plumbed up. That's going to be the next plan, and probably start working on maybe getting some wiring. Oh, a fuel tank we got to do yet. We got to hang the fuel tank, and we're getting, you know, one piece at a time, one step at a time. Got to figure out the intercooler, got to figure out the radiator plumbing. Where we have the top, we just have to figure out the bottom. What else? Yeah, we're plugging away. I guess the steering column, we're gonna get the steering column in and get it so we can actually use a steering wheel to steer the truck. I had to move the truck back and forth a few times, and it's a pain in the butt because you can't steer it. So it's, yeah, brute force and ignorance is the only way to get it around. But I'm gonna give you guys a little sneak peek of a possible Project 2.0. So I always told myself that, you know, never start another project until you're done your first project, because then it just, guys do it all the time and they have projects and projects and projects and nothing ever gets completed. So I'm trying really hard not to start this project, but I've been collecting parts. I'll give you a rundown of kind of what the idea is. But if you guys want to let me know in the comments what you're liking on this build, if you're liking my videos. As you can see, my videos have been sporadic. I haven't had a lot of incentive to get in the shop and work on Project Arnie. So if you guys can let me know that you guys are liking the videos, stuff like that, yeah, just let me know. It's always much appreciated when I hear some comments about the build, about the truck. It gets me motivated to get in the shop and to do more. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to my channel. That would be super awesome. But anyways, I'll turn the camera around and I'll give you kind of an idea of what Project 2.0 coming down the pipeline is after Project Arnie. So here we go. So here we have a 97 Mustang GT 4.6 liter automatic. Rear end is smashed. Car runs and drives, fires right up. And over here we have, in this pile of junk, we have a 2004 Grand Marquis front end suspension with the rack and pinion. And here we have a 8.8 rear end out of a 95 Explorer. It's a limited slip with 373 gears. We also have a Backyards custom box set for the front suspension for the Crown Victoria. So if you guys watch any other bump side channels, you have an idea of what Project 2.0 is going to look like. We have the Mustang power plant, Crown Vic front clip, Explorer rear end, Backyards customs front end frame swap for a 67 F100, and we have that as well. We just need to go pick it up. I'll do a few photos, insert them here so you guys can see exactly what the project is. It's a long box. It's going to get chopped down to a short box, and it's going to have that power plant in it. So anyways, guys, thanks for tuning into this channel. Yeah, we got some stuff done. I know it's been a while since I posted anything or videoed anything. I kind of got in here, a half hour here, half hour there, got some stuff done. I'm pretty pumped. Got the Hydroboost and the clutch and all that stuff. Got the inside with the firewall done, got the pedals done. You guys know I've already recapped. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, and until next time, peace.